Hey ladies and brave gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of life advice that you do not hear in church. My name's Tiffany and hit subscribe to see more videos like this. I've got a lot of questions over the past few years, like what do you do in a toxic relationship? A relationship where it's just so negative and draining and even harmful for the one or both of the people that you're like, this is just not a healthy relationship for me to be in. And that could be with a boyfriend, a friend, a family member. And today I'm going to share with you my own journey with this and 4 steps to take if you're in a toxic relationship. Now, I know I put toxic people on the thumbnail. That's just because people fits better. It's not as long as relationships. I don't like to think of people as being toxic people. I think of people as being broken or having a lot of things they're working through that are making our relationship toxic, or maybe I'm the one making our relationship toxic, but I don't like to think of that person as an individual being toxic. I just want to make that clarification. So for my own story, there was this person who I didn't know very well, but had been getting to know a little bit better. And there had been some things that were like red flags to me. And I was like, I feel like this relationship is not super healthy. But we were always getting together in a group. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to like not let this get to me. Well, then this person starts trying to call me, but not leaving voicemails. So after a couple of calls and no voicemail, I'm like, this probably wasn't a butt dial. This was probably on purpose. So I texted her back and was like, is there anything you need right now? And she said, I want to talk on the phone. And I said what I thought was a really nice text, like, I actually really don't like talking on the phone. I said it in like a funny way and was like, but I'd love to like meet up with you in person or we could text about this. And I've shared this with many people over the years and nobody's gotten offended. It's just talking on the phone is extremely draining to me. And so it's one of those boundaries I've set to keep myself healthy. So I have energy to do what I need to do in my life. So she writes back, I can tell she's upset. So I'm like, that's odd. Okay. So I waited for James to get home from work and showed him. He's like, that's weird, but okay. So he helped me write a text just like, I'm so sorry if that sounded hurtful at all. I really didn't mean to. I'm happy to like text, or if you want to talk in person, we can meet up for coffee. Well, this person like lost it on me. Like from that moment on, I felt like I was being harassed. Just these texts, these voicemails, these really, really mean stuff. And it started like, I would see her name pop up on my phone and my heart would like race and I'd have like almost a panic attack and be like, I don't know what to do right now. And it was so hard for me because I'm like, I know she's hurting and I want to help her, but like, she's not willing to work within the boundaries I have. If I had said to someone, I want to talk to you, and they said, okay, well, I only talk on the phone, then I'd either have to say, okay, I guess I don't want to talk that much, or okay, I'll call them. Like it's their boundaries, I'm the one reaching out. And she just wasn't willing to accept what I thought were very reasonable solutions. And so the text just got meaner and meaner. And finally I stopped reading them and I would show them to James and he's like, okay, I am saving a copy of this in case we need it for some reason, but you are never reading this, and would like delete it off my phone. It was becoming very toxic for me. I would think about it all the time. It was so draining and so much negative energy, and I'd be so anxious about it. And I started talking to my counselor, and he's like, you can't be there for this person. Like you need to just kind of cut off communication. Don't respond to her. That was the first thing I had to realize, was that boundaries are healthy. And this is something I've really wrestled with because, growing up in church, it was like, I love people. Like that's what God has called me to do. And so shouldn't I just be there for this person over and over, turning the other cheek, bearing their burdens? Like, shouldn't I just be putting myself out there like that? But I've had to learn, like, I have to take care of myself first. If I'm just being drained by this person and I have nothing left to give the people who are most important, like my husband, my daughter, soon to be second daughter, the ministry God has called me to, like, we have to remember Jesus would withdraw from the crowds, send them away, and go somewhere to be alone. He had boundaries. And even there are people that the apostles prayed for and healed in Acts after Jesus had already been raised from the dead. Jesus did not heal everybody there was to heal. Like, he operated within limits. And it's okay to set limits and boundaries for ourselves. And they're actually helpful for the other person too. If you are always just giving in and enabling somebody to continue unhealthy behavior, it's not a way of loving them. It's not a way of letting them see, oh my goodness, I need to change something about my behavior and what I'm doing. Instead, it's enabling them to stay in this unhealthy place. James was telling me too, like his friends in ministry with rescue missions, clinicians experience this all the time. People want to be helped on their own terms. And it's actually good for them, even though they don't know it yet, and for you to have boundaries and stick to them. And so I think the first thing is figure out what are healthy boundaries for you in this relationship. And for some of you, that might mean cutting this off, breaking up with that boyfriend, or no longer seeing this friend, or whatever it is. Or for some of you, it might be something less, like we are only going to hang out in groups, or I cannot be the only person you're going to. You need to start in counseling if we're going to still be friends. There's all different levels and layers of boundaries you could choose, but you need to set boundaries to protect yourself. If you want to learn more about boundaries, check out the book called Boundaries by Dr. Cloud and Dr. Townsend. It has been life-changing for me. Maybe I'll even do a giveaway with that book soon on my Instagram. Follow me because that might be happening. Okay. Second thing I learned is I cannot figure this out by myself. Like, it's so easy to get up in your head and second guess yourself. It's so important to have outside help. If it's a super toxic relationship, get professional counseling. If it's a family member, get professional counseling. If you're looking for a counselor, there's a company that sponsors my ministry called Faithful Counseling, and I have more information about them linked down in the description below. It is an affiliate link. It's a sponsored link, but they offer counseling with licensed counselors online from anywhere in the world. So check that out if you're looking for a counselor. But for me, like, it was James, my mom, a few close friends, my counselor. That's it. I did not want to badmouth this person or talk about this person with just random people. That's not healthy. That's just wrong. It's gossip at that point. And so you just have the few people you trust. Nobody else has to know. And that's really hard for me. It's like, I want to just defend myself because she was like talking bad about me to all these other people. And I just wanted to defend myself. But I'm like, I'm just not going to talk about the situation because it's just not, they don't need to know. And I don't need to badmouth her. And the third thing to do is pray for that person. I just started praying for this girl all the time, like, Lord, would you please provide somebody in her life? Like, I'm clearly not the person that can help her, but she needs someone who can. Would you provide someone in her life who can walk her through this? Recognizing like it's out of my hands, which is hard because again, it's like, well, shouldn't I be the one to go running and help her? No, not in a toxic relationship, you shouldn't. God, when we are called to help somebody, God gives us the grace to do that, where even when it's hard, it doesn't feel draining and toxic and like it's harmful to you. It's like you have the grace for it. You feel like I can do this. God is empowering me to do this. And when you don't feel that, then I think there's somebody else to help. There's a lot of need in this world, and it's important that each of us fill the needs God gives us the grace to fill. But if we try to fill other needs that we have no grace to fill, then we are just going to be drained and we won't be able to do anything. One of the unique things about my situation was I knew somebody who I thought might be able to help her, and I tried to connect them. I don't know how helpful it actually was for her, but I just was like, I want to be able to connect her with someone. And there are times when you can really encourage them, like, this person might be a good fit, or here's the number and name of this counselor that might be a really good fit. There are times when maybe that can happen, but there are also times when you just need to say, I need to let go now. This is too damaging, too unhealthy. It's not helping either of us. And the fourth and final thing is to heal yourself, because when you've been in a toxic relationship, it can be very damaging to you. And so that was something I worked through in counseling, even like, why was this so toxic for me? Why was it so damaging to me? Like, what can I do about this? How can I heal from it? You know, a few years have gone by in my situation, and I don't feel hurt by it the same way. And I no longer feel like controlled by it or really hurt by it. And every so often something will pop up emotionally, and I'm able to talk it through with James and my mom. They just help me get perspective on it. But you need to heal yourself too. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. If this is something you've walked through personally, would you share what else has helped you on the journey? I love you, ladies and brave gentlemen, and I'll see you next week. Bye.